How's it going, everybody? Rye right here today, and we are back with your European Vanguards, ready to get into our season number 1. And, after the last one, guys, a lot of craziness happened. The draft, the expansion draft, the huge trade to move up to number 1 overall. I think it was worth it. Looking back on it, I think it was worth it. I think it was a good trade for us. I think we're still in a good spot as a franchise. And we are just going to leave him down in the minors. I haven't signed him. He's just going to kind of crush his junior league. I believe it's not going to tell me if he's playing in the KHL, but I believe he is. Taking a look in the system here. Kondratiev, Ivan Kondratiev. It doesn't have any of his previous totals. We'll see if it does track that, but assuming it doesn't, he's going to be playing there. He's listed as a third line scoring forward, but he's just going to be dominating the juniors, because one thing I want to make sure we do is go ahead and find him a running mate. If we take a look at the draft class now, we can see the upcoming draft class. Shishkinov, the number 1 overall right winger, Russian. I mean, this is the kind of guy, guys, that we could certainly add to the team and 1-2 punch for years. There's also Nikolai Korobov and Emil Hemming, right? There's a couple of these, the Finns here, if we don't end up going all the way up to number 1. The Russian defenseman obviously would be nice, stands 6'3" as well. That's pretty cool. But Shishkinov and Kondratiev could be a great 1-2 pairing. And just something I want to shoot for. And another thing that I need to remember is that, like, all these guys in the WHL, there's no need to scout them. We got Russia here. 2 Russian players, Liga, but the OHL, QMJHL, right? Can't do those. Aaron Kiviharu from Liga, OHL, Extra Liga, right? Adam Jirasek is in play. Ryder Ritchie from the WHL, sure. But I may completely get rid of, I shouldn't say I should completely get rid of them. There's Hellenius here from Liga, okay. Alsvenskin, Michael, Brandseg Nygaard. Oh God, if we draft him, that's going to be brutal for you guys. But then there's Eriks Mateko from the QMJHL, right? There's a couple players over in the Canadian Hockey League for now, but the NLA, Extra Liga, Alsvenskin, SHL, Liga, Russia, that's where we want to focus our scouts. Nobody from the US, because the US I have never really seen anybody play in the USA Central, East, or West. That is of a different nationality than American, maybe a Canadian or 2, but for the most part, our scouting, I'm going to have to just kind of reassign all of our scouts and get rid of pretty much anybody that's not scouting in Europe, right? So these 2 USA scouts, get rid of them. We got 2 QMJH. Wow, we got a lot of Canadian Hockey League scouts, so we'll probably keep one of each of those, right? 1 QMJHL, 1 OHL, and 1 WHL, just to be safe. Usually those players do end up being Canadian in a year or 2. But for now, we are going to keep 1 scout in each of those regions, get rid of the 2 USA scouts, and just load up, double scout Liga, double scout the SHL. Probably get a scout for every European league, 2 in Russia, right? We could definitely rework this scouting to be very, very good. But I'm actually happy with how the team looks. I think there's potential for the future. There's a couple players we're banking on. We're obviously going to try and tank this year for, I think it was Shishkinov? Nikita? Shishkinov, I think was the name. Let me double check that, because he's the one we're tanking for. So we'll see if we can do it right. Shishkinov was the number 1 overall pick. So we'll scout him. We'll get him all scouted. I'm not going to make you guys sit through the actual simulation, which is why I'm kind of previewing it so long. So I'm not going to go through that, but I am going to use the Athletic. They did an advanced analytics thing, basically breaking down what every NHL contender or cup champion has had over the last 13 years. And they all have an elite center, an elite winger, an elite defenseman, right? So I want to see if I can build that kind of team with this pure European thing and see how it works. I think it could be kind of fun. I'll pop the graphic up on the screen if I haven't already, but I think it'd be kind of cool to take a look and see if we can fit one player into each of these. Obviously, we have Kondratiev. If we get the elite winger in Shishkinov, that's a great 1-2 punch. It's a huge start for us, as well as then, we got Teravainen and maybe some others that are on the team that'll grow. But guys, we're going to dive into things. I'll get up a couple months. I'll show you how we're doing. Hopefully things are going very poorly this season. Hopefully we are towards the bottom of the league. But just for now, guys, This season, we just want to acquire a little bit more talent. We still have all those picks, right? We got our first round pick back, so tanking does not, it's not crazy, right? It's not absolutely ludicrous to tank, right? We got our first, a second, 2/3, a fifth, sixth, and a seventh. So we should be fine there. Obviously, next year we would like to start winning because we have Dallas's first, but then a full complement of picks. We don't have our first in 2026, and we don't have our first in 2027, but we should be able to figure it out, by then, how we're going to work without a first, or maybe we even can acquire a first. Move on from some of these players that are aging out, bring up a new core. A lot to discuss, guys, but I'm not going to bog this down anymore. Let's go ahead and dive into the simulation. All right, so we are up about 2 months into the season, 26 games played, and we are sitting on 29 points, ahead of the Bruins, ahead of the Canadiens, and ahead of the Senators. We do have more games played than all those teams, but it's kind of crazy, the fact that we're 13, 10, and 3, above 500. Really not sure what it is that's keeping us afloat so well. I mean, we're not even close to the St. Louis Blues, where we kind of need to be, who I think have a much better team than we do. Apparently, whoever we took from them, Torpchenko, it was just the glue that held them together. They're scoring 2-4 per game. That is crazy. Oh, my goodness. Our goals against have got to be up there, right? I swear, we're just getting our games are so high scoring. I guess not. Yeah, our goals against are 3. I mean, we're a decent team. We're scoring, which I shouldn't complain about. Teravainen has 32 points in 26 games. Barbashev with 25 and 26. And Capo Caco with 18 and 26 is pretty good. Niederreiter, Hoglander, Boqvist, Romanov is doing well on the blue line. I mean, we have players that are doing well. It's this top line, I think, that is really kind of carrying us right now. I'd like to try and mess with that if I can, but at the same time, like, I want Capo Caco to grow. Same thing with Boqvist and Romanov and Brandstrom. They're all putting up points. Chernak's not doing well. Mata, Yokiharu, right? And then Gustafsson. I mean, our goaltenders aren't stealing the show. They aren't particularly fantastic either, but I'm surprised to see our locker room chemistry 75%. I mean, 29 points is way too many points for us to have at this point in the season, and I don't know what I have to do to really ruin it. Maybe I put just Prota on the top line, and we just go with this. Maybe Luotz-Arainen over Barbashev, and then Barbashev just kind of plays there for a year. I mean, I don't really know what else I should be looking to do. Maybe move Boqvist up rather than getting all the probably rather than getting all the pluses in the chemistry, but wow. So we're starting off really well as a franchise. It's good, but it's bad at the same time. We'll see. I mean, we're in a really tough division, so maybe things will settle down as we get closer to the trade deadline. But honestly, guys, things are going well, which is the opposite of what I wanted to do. But hopefully this is just starting off hot. Things will come back down to earth eventually. I don't want to ruin us too much, but at the same time, like, getting Shishkinov would be huge. So we're just about a month away from the deadline here, February 1st, and things really have taken a turn. We were 13, 10, and 3. Since then, we're 9, 17, and 1. So I mean, that's kind of what I was hoping to be for the majority of the season, but really things are starting to even out. Our scoring is absolutely plummeted. We're scoring fewer than 2.75 goals for per game, a full goal lower than the Red Wings. Then as far as goals against, I mean, it's not terrible, 3.28, but obviously it's pretty poor when you compare it to the rest of the division. Taking a look at where we rank across the league, you can see that we've got some work to do to catch up to a team like the Blues or the Sharks. I mean, the Blues, I don't know what happened to them, but the Sharks obviously are not built to win now, and they're doing everything they can, right? 2.28 goals for the Blues. Oh my God, that is horrible. We have the third worst offense in the league, but as far as like goaltending, or I shouldn't say goaltending, but defense, definitely don't think that's the issue. I think maybe it's something we would need to address, is potentially moving on from Gustafsson. So points, still doing well for Teravainen. Barbashev still doing well on the third line. Capo Caco with 35. Hoglander with 28 and 11 goals. Prota, I believe, is now getting first line ice time. He's got 27 points. He's only a -1. Right, so things are actually going well for the guys we want to do well. Like, the points are there. It's not completely desolate. Boqvist, Romanov, even Brandstrom's doing well. Is Boqvist growing at all? He's up to an 84. Whoa, he was an 82 at the start of the season, now up to an 84. And then in goal, I mean, Gustafsson is not playing well, right? He's playing 41 games. He's an 84 medium starter. I don't know if we want to move on from him, right? It's not like he's producing all that well. I mean, he was at like a 308 or something to start the season. Now he's at a 327, so he's not holding us together. I think the team is just good enough not to bottom out, but we're going to be a bottom 5 team, which is the goal. And then maybe we can move up to 1. I doubt we can actually get up to 1. I'm not giving up another 5 first-round picks this year. Maybe the lottery would be nice to us this time, but either way, guys, trade deadline coming up, expiring contracts. Let's take a look. Quite a few of those. We've got Victor Arvidsson. We've got Jesper Boqvist. We got Brandstrom, right? Do we keep Brandstrom around? He's actually looked pretty solid, all things considered, playing 15 minutes a night. Offer him an extension. He's only going to want 2.3 for 3 years. I think, you know what? I think a 3-4 year deal. I think 4 years. Let's give him 4 years at 2.3. I feel like that's fine for him. Capo Kakko up to an 81 isn't like exploding as terms of growth, but 81, he's got 35 points in 53 games. He's getting a bunch of ice time. Maybe he does jump, right? We can give him a 5-year deal at $3.5 million. I'm okay with this. Get him till he's 27 at $3.5 million. If he doesn't pan out, well, $3.5 million for a third line two-way forward is not too bad anyway. So I think I'm going to offer him that and see what we can get there. Yoki Haru, probably not a guy I want to bring back. Boqvist, probably not I mean, he is only 25, two-way forward. He's just so average. And then there's Victor Arvidsson here, 84 overall sniper. I mean, he's not playing like at all 11 minutes a night. We should move on from him for value purposes. And same thing with Kevin Lankinen, right? Taking a look at the main roster, we've got Gustafsson and Lankinen. And in the system, we got Annunen, who can easily fill the spot of Lankinen. Oh, God, this is going to be a fun series with the name pronunciations. But Arvidsson's definitely got to go. Maybe Boqvist goes. Brandstrom and Kakko are obviously staying. Silfverberg's going to be like negative value, and I don't feel like any of these guys down here that I signed like for the minors or just for depth, I don't feel like they're going to make much of an impact in the trade market. But a guy like Victor Arvidsson, maybe a guy like Matthias Janmark could end up getting some value. I mean, he's a really good player. I mean, he fits a first line really well, so obviously not an 81. He's not going to fit great. Henry Yoki Haru, I mean, pinch balance is not bad because it's what cycle pinch cycle is what we like generally from our coaches. So that's probably what we'll end up doing. Maybe I'll see if I can find like a European coach too. I'm not going to do that now. Actually, you know what? I am going to do that now. I'm going to see if I can just fire our head coach, hire somebody, or just promote from within, because there's Chimera, Gregory Chimera, good coaching defenseman. He fits the scheme. We don't like his scheme is terrible too, by the way. So we're straight up just going to fire our head coach, confirm. It's going to cost me $0. And then we're going to promote our AHL goalie coach to be interim NHL head coach. There we go. That sounds like a good plan. That's going to help us out quite a bit. So welcome to the NHL. I didn't even look at your name. I didn't even look at Dryden. Welcome Hayden Dryden to the NHL. Go ahead, coach us behind the bench. Oh my God, that's also terrible right there. So we don't want our guys to fit the scheme at all. Like straight up is what we don't want when we go to trade for players. But February 1st, trade deadline coming up. I think what we'll probably do is hang on to our players until then. We're going to trade away Arvidsson at some point, and we're definitely going to trade away Lankinen, because I feel like those two are both pretty good. Let me see what I could get for Arvidsson now. He wants an extension. His morale's dropping. It's only a matter of time, I feel like, before he loses any more value than he has, right? It's not a ton. It really isn't, Victor Arvidsson here, but it's still something. So as of right now, Arvidsson only has a little bit of value. I'm trying to get a third this year. Montreal wanted to give me a third next year for him. They also need to give me Kovacevic here. I also need to retain salary on Victor Arvidsson, because we'd be under the cap, I believe, if we didn't take on a player plus retain. You can see it's really tight over there. 62.5, I think, is the league minimum salary cap. So we're going to give this a go. Maybe we should go out and acquire some of the worst contracts out there. We'll figure it out, but propose the trade as just a bit low. Okay, so I'll give him a 7th so we can get the 3rd round pick this year rather than next year. Fine with that. And trade accepted. It's a sweet proposal on their end. So they seem to think they're getting out like gangbusters here. So we now have 20 skaters. I believe we should have enough. Let's just edit the lines real quick. Victor Arvidsson was not playing much ice time to begin. Yeah, he was on the 3rd line here. And then instead of him, we will put in Jacob Silverberg, who probably has no value too. But hey, it is what it is. Capo Caco, yeah, everybody's looking okay. Teravainen's up a little bit. So defensively, Boqvist. Boqvist and Romanov, nice old -2. We love to see that, at least for this season. Power play. Oh, got to fix that. We got to put somebody in there. Brandstrom, nope. We got to just fill that. And then we can get to the deadline here, guys. Romanov, are you? I don't know if Romanov is playing or not. Let's take a look. Power play, Romanov is not. So we'll get him on some power play time. All right, guys, I know Kovacevic may sound European, but he's actually Canadian. So we got to get rid of him as soon as possible. But we're just going to pretend this is a 3-team trade here with us in Montreal. We're going to reacquire Nikita Zaitsev. I believe we drafted him anyway, and then just shipped him out. He's not good, but he's worth $4.5 million, which is going to put us back above the salary cap. They should take this deal if I had to guess. Trade accepted. Absolute no-brainer for them. So Nikita Zaitsev, welcome to the Europe Vanguard. And now we should be much safer when it comes to cap space and cap hit. Projected spent is 64.079. Our cap hit is actually 63. For some reason, I can't see the cap floor, right? The salary cap is 83.5, but I'd like to see the cap floor. We have 19.42 in cap space. So all that matters is I didn't check Kovacevic's name or his nationality when I traded for him. I just kind of went based off a name. A little bit of a goof, but hey, he didn't last more than like 2 seconds on the team. So he's gone. We got Nikita Zaitsev in. We're all set. Hopefully that's the last time I make a goof like that. Again, these throw-ins that I just kind of don't pay much attention to, that's going to cause some issue every once in a while. Do keep me honest in the comment section if I don't correct it later in the video. So we're going to call up Nikita Zaitsev now and make sure that he is sitting on the bench, making the full salary amount that he is, and making sure that our team is cap compliant. So I was looking for Nikita Zaitsev down in the minors, as you guys probably noticed. He's actually an 80 overall. Who knew? He was just really unhappy in San Jose. I don't know if he's going to be happier here, but I guess he's technically closer to home. So, well, welcome, Nikita. I'm glad I could make your day. Hopefully you make my team worse. And there we go, guys. Since making those trades for Arvidsson and Zaitsev, we are 2-7. We've picked up a whopping 4 points almost in our last 10 games played. Teravainen continues to put up points, speaking of points, but now sitting at 52 points. It's looking a lot nicer in terms of the tank. Things are going well in that regard. Taking a look at the entire league, we now rank 3rd. We do have a game in hand on both the Sharks and the Blues, but hopefully the Sharks get better by Zaitsev getting out of there. Maybe he was like a locker room cancer to them. He's already starting to lose a lot of morale here, so clearly he might be. And then the St. Louis Blues have a very good chance of passing us. Regulation wins, we do have the advantage there. They're just managing to get to overtime, but just can't get across the hump. I mean, you got to feel bad. When they do get to overtime, they're probably scoring 2, and they're losing 3-2. I mean, it's just crazy. I've never seen a team that low in the goals for per game. And it's not even their goals against that's all that bad. But we are now at the trade deadline. We have to play the Arizona Coyotes first. And then we can go ahead and maybe, and definitely move on from Lankinen. Maybe anybody else that needs to be moved on from, but I think honestly, I think we're okay. We're 3-7 in our last 10. I'm going to be a pure seller. Enter the trade deadline. We've lost locker room chemistry. I have no idea whether or not we beat the Coyotes. And let's take a look, not the top 10. I don't want to look at the top 10 players. I just want to look at all available players. We're going to go all the way to the very end, see what young potential players are out there that we could potentially trade for, and not really hurt our team's tank chances. But there's Hamey now. There's Lekaramaki. Lekaramaki, interesting. Could be one here. Find a trade, please. Please find a trade. Thank you. There we go. Nino Niederreiter, Ole Mata and Prota, Yoki Haru and Prota, Prota third and Miramanov, or Kako and Miramon. I think I'd give them Olimata probably. No, I'd rather give them Henry Yokiharu. He's an expiring contract. I don't plan on bringing him back. Lakaramaki, quote me on this one. I'm pretty sure he's Swedish. And he is. So 74 overall at 19, medium top 6. Don't want to give up Prota. I'll give up something else. What other skaters float your boat here? A lot of them, actually. Look at that. I'd give you Jesper Boqvist instead. I think I would give up actually Nosek. Why don't I just give up Nosek and Yokiharu in this deal? And I think we're better off for it. Not now, but we would be in the future. We'd have to call up Ruotsalainen, which that will be good for us. But we will go ahead and do this deal. Trade accepted on behalf of the Vancouver Canucks. Thank you for your offer. You're welcome, Vancouver. And we've now got Lekaramaki. So we got a prospect at 19. He's 74. Looks good for the future, and he's Swedish, so I don't have to have egg on my face for trading for somebody that I can't actually use in this challenge. There's Chibrikov. I don't know why he's there. Edler. Does anybody get... Oh my God, I'm going to get something for Edler? No way. I gave him money, just random money. He's not going to play, so I guess maybe I could go after, I don't know, Grub, Baker. I mean, I can't tell if any of these guys are actually European or not. I wish I could see it quickly, but they're all bottom sixers. So, like Davies here. I don't think Davies is going to be European. He could be, but for example, like what kind of player are we getting? Okay, 63 overall prospect. That's just garbage. I'm just going to keep Edler on the roster just for the heck of it. But it's interesting to see that he is one of the young, or I shouldn't say young, but he's towards the bottom. I know they always do that. They always put like the prospects at the bottom, even though they're not like this lowly valued on the trade. It's just due to the fact that that they're prospects. I don't know why they put them back here, to be honest, but they do, and I guess it doesn't make sense to me because if it's ordered, I actually appreciate being able to come to the very end here. If it was ordered by trade value, you'd have no idea whether or not you know, where they were. Anyway, enough of my rambling. I need to get rid of Kevin Lankinen because we're not going to bring him back either. So Olli Mata could be a guy we get. You know what? Yeah, let's see what teams would give us for Olli Mata. Because that he's a guy with a little bit of value. A 3rd round pick this year and Lagesson. A 3rd next year and a 4th. A 3rd and a 5th next year. Mark Pysyk. Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Excuse me? Wow. How the mighty have fallen. Let's see, a 3rd round pick, a Churi, a 3rd this year and a 4th next year from Florida. Sounds really good to me. Kakinen, yeah, he's a goalie. I guess I could use him in a minute. Probably not, though. Kasperi Kapanen and a 3rd next year. Okay, a 2nd round pick from Tampa Bay. I know I'm like acquiring all of Tampa Bay's picks, but like, hey, you never know. Let's take a look at Jesperi Kotkaniemi, because this could be an interesting one. He's got no value, so clearly he's not, you know, super highly valued. He's listed as an 82, low top 6 playmaker. I mean, he does look really good. He's the kind of guy I could take a chance on. 4.6 million. I mean, honestly, I might do this deal. I straight up might do this deal rather than a 2nd round pick. He's got 6 more years left at 4.6. I mean, it's not great, but we're not really hurting for cap. And he's the kind of player that, give him some ice time, he could turn into something for us. So I think I'm going to do this deal. I'm going to go ahead and offer the trade, and they believe it's going to lead to success for them. So let's just go to our team and see what the available players are. Oh God, I can't look at my team pops up in this list, in the main list, but I can't. Oh God, I can't see just all my players in one spot. That's crazy. Nikita Zaitsev, nobody's giving me anything for him. Can somebody make a trade so I can just auto jump back to the left panel, because this is, oh, there he is. No, there's Lankinen. He's actually got a good amount of value. Let's see what teams would give us. I don't want Linus Ullmark. No, thank you. God, that somebody did make a trade for me. And it jumped me back when I didn't want to, because I already had found Lankinen. So there. All right. Lankinen for a 5th round pick and Gauthier. Pittsburgh, do you got anything else for me? Taylor Gauthier doesn't really float my boat. They need to, okay, somebody else has got to want him, right? Is Lankinen wanted by anybody but Pittsburgh? The Islanders! I was going to say, the silence is deafening. But no, the Islanders actually want him. So we'll see if we can get maybe like a 4th round pick for him. The Islanders would have too many goalies. Great. Love that. So goalies. Anybody they want to get rid of? Tikkanen. That sounds like a European. It is Finnish. I was going to say, it sounds like a European name to me. Propose the trade. Rejected. Okay. I will take a 5th then, I guess, this year. Listen, it's something just to sweeten the pot here. Yep. Annunen would have to be called up. Trade accepted. Consider it a done deal. Beautiful. All right. So I'm actually kind of happy with with the moves we made. Jesperi Kotkaniemi at 23, 82, low top 6. He could be, I mean, especially at 4.675. That's not a bad contract for a middle 6 center. If he can grow maybe to an 84, I think I'd be very, very happy with that deal. And all we had to give up was a guy like Olli Mata, who's aging. And now our decor looks like a really good age, to be honest. Chernak at 26, 24 for Romanov and Brandstrom. Boqvist at 23. Obviously, Edler is going to play a little bit. Miramanov, I guess, is very highly valued. But honestly, guys, I'm happy with how the team is looking. Taking a look at all skaters with 1 year left on their deal. Kondratiev doesn't look like he's grown at all, but I'm not concerned. It's just the trade screen. We could always see Silverberg. Anybody want to give me something for him? Somebody does. Ingham. Just going to decline the trade. I'd rather have the $5.5 million on the team just so I can function, rather than a goaltender that I really am never going to use ever. So Silverberg at least helps us a little bit now as far as just filling up a roster spot and just keeping us afloat as far as the cap is concerned. Janmark. Teams might want... Janmark's the perfect kind of guy that goes for like a 5th at the deadline, a 4th from the Hurricanes this year. There's Suzuki. Is that Ryan Suzuki? Noah Gunler, yeah, can't use those guys. Tulio, yeah, no, none of those guys. But I might take a 4th from like the Wild. Take a 4th for Matthias Janmark. Yeah, like this feels like a good hockey trade here. Hervinen, no, none of these guys. New Jersey Devils, 4th round pick. Victor Arvidsson. No, Victor Ulrichsen. Josh Bloom. No, thank you. Yeah, I think I'll take, whose 4th round pick? Was it the Wild? Yeah, let me take the Wild's 4th round pick for Matthias Janmark. Perfect. I mean, it's a 4th round pick, right? What could it hurt to have just an extra one of those? Jesper Boqvist, I think I kind of want to bring him back. I don't want to move Zaitsev because he's just cap at this point. Jesper Boqvist, I mean, obviously isn't playing well. We're not setting anybody up to succeed right now, so I'm not going to hold it against these guys. Prota is signed for 5 more years at 3.3. I'd like to see him grow a little bit. He's playing first-line ice time. Teravainen, Brandstrom did sign his extension. Both him and Kako did sign their extensions. Kondratiev obviously is not signed. And I think for the deadline, that's all she wrote. I think if we just go to trade summary, take a look at what we're doing here. What time is it? Yeah, it's 9 a.m. You can see we acquired a 4th round pick for Matthias Janmark. We acquired Tikkanen in a 5th for Lankinen. It's just, it's just one of those. Jesperi Kotkaniemi for Olli Mata, straight up, get younger. Technically, we got more expensive, but I'm not too concerned about it. We got Lekkerimäki for no second Jokiharju, which I think we've done some good deals that are not going to hurt our prospects of getting a top pick this year. But we're also going to set ourselves up for future success. So exit the trade deadline. Let's jump to the end of the season, show you the last couple games. And hopefully we can continue to... Oh, look at that. A big trade. Montreal gets Kuzmenko for and a 3rd for 2 seconds and Logan Milo. Okay. Good luck with that, Calgary. All right. So we are now ready to make sure that the lines look as gross as they ever could. And yeah, Barbashev... no. Kapokako's up to an 82. I like to see that. Prota, let's move you up. All the way to here. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, you get to play second-line ice time. Luotsa-Rainen's up to a 81. I like to see that. Let's do this. Barbashev can play... Both of these guys can play wing or center, so doesn't really matter who plays where. I mean, all of these guys can. Lekkerimäki would rather have him in the minors, so I think we're going to do that. Romanov, Chernak, Boqvist, yeah, Edler and Zaitsev. Boqvist, move up there with Romanov. Get yourselves that -2, because that's been helping us out a lot. Brandstrom with Chernak, help him out. All right, and we just need to call somebody up from the minors. I'll take care of that. Send Lekkerimäki down, and we should be good to go. Yeah, Lekkerimäki, and then in the system, we'll call up Ruotsalainen and Sorela. Sure, just 2 guys, just because. Actually, let's call up Leo Komarov, because we can. All right, there we go. Salary cap, we're underneath it, but at this point, it doesn't matter. Let's just go ahead and get into the exciting part, which is how bad did we do? All right, so I'm jumping back in on the calendar to say we did lose 6-0 to the Coyotes. We've also picked up 3 points since the deadline. Yes, that's 3 points in an entire month. We lost in overtime to the Coyotes, and we beat the Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard, Western Conference Final Oilers. That's crazy. 4-2. Somebody must have been on something that day. But other than that, it's a 3-2, 5-2, 4-2, 8-4, 5-2, 5-2, 2-0 losses. And we have 5 games to go. So I wanted to jump in with 5 to go. And I think, the fact that Teravainen still has 70 points is beyond bonkers to me. I have no idea how he's continuing to trudge through all the just piles of garbage in front of him, and still put up points. But there we go, guys. We've put up, I think, 3 points. Yeah, since we last checked. The Sharks have put up 8. They're also trying to tank very hard. So if they could pick up, a lot of points this week, good Lord. We are just doing it with a devoid of offense. They are doing it by just giving up a lot of goals, which I would say is more fun. Interesting to see. We're 1-9 in our last 10. They're 2-6-2, so they are accumulating points. They are hot. The San Jose Sharks are hot. And oh man, we'd be so close. Oh, we're so close, guys. The coaching, the lines, it's all doing it, guys. We just got to get to the end. We got to see it through. Let's get to the last 3 games. Get the rest of this week out of the way against Arizona. We are going to lose 6-3. Oh, we win in a shootout. Guys, you can't do that. And the Sharks are still 5 points behind us. They need to I think they would need to win the remaining games they have. Actually, they don't. The maximum amount of points they can get is 54 because they have 2 games remaining. We have 3. And I think we're 6 points behind the Blues. So as long as we don't win all 3, we should be safe to say we are the second worst team in the league. There's a loss, and we should have guaranteed ourselves with one more push of advanced day to be the second worst team in the National Hockey League. And right now, the idea to expand to Europe is looking terrible for Gary Bettman in the NHL. But don't you worry, we are cooking over here. We are cooking something up. But yes, there we go. Our pick is guaranteed to be no worse than 4th, I believe. So that's good. Honestly, having the second best odds at the draft lottery is huge. 57 points, obviously terrible, but we did everything in our power to make the team terrible. And it's good to see some guys persist beyond that. Ivan Barbashev finished as a +4. Capo Caco, is -20. Oh, God, -25. I hope that doesn't ruin anything. But Teuvo Teravainen with 75 points. Good to see him continuing to be a great playmaker. So put a franchise center with him. All of a sudden next year, we might look pretty good. Barbashev, great middle 6 winger, or can shift it over to center. Capo Caco, think we've got a guy here. He put up 50 points, 18 goals. He's still got a chance to grow. Nils Hoglander, didn't talk about him much at all this season, but as a 2-way forward, he put up 18 goals, 46 points. On the second line, Nino Niederreiter, playing in that middle 6, another solid player here, a goal scorer. He scored 17. He didn't shoot all that well, but maybe pair him with Teravainen, and then all of a sudden, look out. Lotsarainen with 42. Prota, probably the most disappointing of them all, but again, he's really predicated on his physical game, not on his playmaking or goal scoring. -34, 60 penalty minutes would probably tell you that. Only 122 shots, and he was playing 18 minutes a night. How many hits did he throw? 136? Capo Caco threw 172. That is wild. He did play 3 minutes more per night. Jesperi Kotkaniemi was playing second line minutes for us, I believe. He put up 12 points, was a -17, but 12 points in 19 games is huge. That's really, really solid production out of a second line center. Jesper Boqvist did all right. Toropchenko did fine. Silverberg did his job. Leo Komarov, I think I put him on like the second or third line. So for him to get 2 goals, be only a -13, it's crazy. We did really try and sell out to lose. Adam Boqvist, Brandstrom, Romanov, all of these guys, especially Boqvist. Very impressed by Boqvist, who's now up to an 85, guys. We might have ourselves a number 1 defenseman, a right shot offensive defenseman. Hello, thank you. I'll take one of those. Edler didn't get any points, was a -10. Zaitsev, 2 points, was a -14. Chernak, solid with about 20 points. I mean, guys, the 4 defensemen we really care about from here all did well. And then in goal, Gustafsson, 3.55 goal against average and a 9.03. I'm not worried about it. It might hurt next season. Tikkanen did play 4 games, did only collect 1 loss, so we might have come in mop-up duty quite a bit. Yeah, to play 4 games and only play 174 minutes, definitely got into mop-up duty. Decided not to call up Annunen because I wanted the Burnaby Aces to continue. I know, I should have created a European team, but it was very late at the time, and I didn't want to create an AHL team we would almost never talk about. But Justice Annunen stayed down there so we could keep that core together and they could experience some winning. So honestly, guys, things went well. We've successfully tanked. That's something I always fail to do. Speaking of successfully tanking, the Chicago Blackhawks have the guy who put up the most points, put up the Art Ross. In his first season as a franchise 18-year-old, he is literally disgusting. Oh my God. Thank God he's in the West and we're in the East. Philip Forsberg did well. So did William Nylander, Patrick Kane. I mean, the Red Wings had a great season, but those guys all had over 100 points. As far as the goals, very spread out across the league. Matthews, the only guy to hit 53 or hit 50, and he hit it with 53. Defenseman Erik Karlsson and the Penguins. He's going to take home another Norris Trophy. Quinn Hughes was up there. Cal McCarr, first time I've seen him not win it really in a long time, but 22 goals for Dougie Hamilton is crazy. Taking a look at the goaltenders, who were the best goaltenders out there. It wasn't us because we didn't help them out much. 9-7 to Ilya Samsonov. Leafs fans, eat your heart out. There's Ilya Samsonov winning the Vezina. And their best rookie this season was, without a doubt, Connor Bedard. I forgot this is Bedard's rookie season. Cooley, Dmitry Voronkov, who I believe... No, that was a 4th-round pick. Never mind. I was going to say they might have taken him with our pick, but nope, that was not it. Zach Benson, look at him. Matthew Nyes, the looks fine there at 45. So there we go. I mean, that's the stats. We are the second worst team in the league, and I think that... tank went well. We'll have to see where the draft lottery gets us. But honestly, guys, I think taking a look at the team and its future and who is signed long-term, we've got Teuvo Teravainen with a great performance. He's signed to a contract extension. We got Protaj signed to a contract extension. Kakko extended his contract. We've got Kotkaniemi, who's still got 6 more years on this contract. Nils Hoglander has another year, right? So he's going to grow. He's going to ask for a little bit more. We got Ivan Barbashev, who is signed for 4 more years at just over 4.5. Nino Niederreiter has a contract extension kicking in now, right? We've got to maybe make a decision on Boqvist, but Luotsa-Rainen, maybe he did well. We got to extend him. Defensively, we signed Boqvist. Or Boqvist is signed, I should say. Yep, he is signed. Brandstrom did sign an extension. Romanov is signed for another year. Chernak is signed for plenty of time. We've got more time with Gustafsson here. He's got 2 more years at just under 4. Like, guys, things are shaping up. We could put together a very competitive team. I think next season, we could potentially challenge for the postseason. Maybe not make the postseason, but definitely challenge for it. And as far as progress reports, let's take a look. I mean, yeah, you can see that Boqvist is just growing, and it's all natural growth. That is what you love to see. Capo Kakko with 15 categories of natural growth. You love to see that too. Romanov, same thing. They're all natural growth. Nobody's growing statistically. Anybody, I don't really care about dropping off, but in the system, Lekaramaki has seen a lot of natural growth. So we got a guy that's growing. And as far as potential, Kondratiev didn't grow, but I'm hoping he develops next season. He did play 49 games. Where was he playing? Russia, yeah, in the KHL. 24 points in 49 games. He was playing how much ice time? 16 minutes? I mean, that's not bad. Leave him over there. Now we can sign him to his ELC in the offseason. Bring him up. See how he does. Lodin, Sikora, all these guys that we have made moves for. Good to see some growth. Par Lindholm, I believe, is declining. Yes, he is. But honestly, guys, hopefully Kondratiev does jump. If not, we just pushed his ELC another year. He's an 81. He should grow in the offseason. We'll see what he is coming into next season. A huge offseason, though. Hopefully the draft lottery is nice to us. I don't think I've ever won a draft lottery on YouTube. So it would be a great time to start. Would really appreciate it because we're taking a look at the draft class. Shishkinov is the number 1 pick. Medium elite playmaker. Oh, man, that would be amazing. But there's also Korobov, medium elite defenseman who is NHL ready and plays like Zdeno Chara. Not a bad consolation prize if we don't end up getting Nikita Shishkinov. who plays like Patrick Kane. God, wow, that is exciting. There's Emil Hemming, who we haven't quite scouted enough of. Ryder Ritchie, who we, aren't scouting much of at all. There's Adam Jirasek, if we felt okay with the medium top 4. But guys, at this point, the tank worked. We're going to get a medium elite player, whether it be Shishkinov, whether it be Korobov. I mean, even Emil Hemming. I don't know if you guys have used him in a previous save or not, but he could be an option. I think I'd rather go with Nikolai Korobov, who might have truculence too, by the way. Like, Cycle Pinch, Zdeno Chara, defensive defenseman. It's money. Things are starting well for this franchise, guys. I am very excited for it. I hope you are too. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Do the trades sound right to you? Do you think we should push for the playoffs next season? I really don't think we can tank. Maybe we just have an average year, see what happens. I don't know. But that is all the time I have for this one. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see some more. And I will see you guys in the next one.
This a free for all before we fall. This a free for all before we fall.